So, good morning. Welcome to my 80s and how I survive. And I wanted to show you my morning pick. And anyway, I picked all of these tomatoes this morning. Well, yesterday I saved out this many. I saved 3 out. And then last night I picked this one because it was way up high. A bird was beginning to peck on it. So I brought that one in. And then these this morning I picked. I don't know if you can see them all, but there they are. This is one of the purpley red ones. That one is too. That one. But this is the other variety. These two. I think this is that variety. Anyway, next year, I always say that, whether there's going to be or not. Anyway, next year I'm going to get I've got 2 of the purple plants. I'm going to do that. And I'm only going to plant one of the big beefsteak and then some other varieties next year. But I think this is really something. And tomorrow morning there'll be more yet. Then I picked just a little bit of collard, and I got a cucumber, and I finally saw the zucchini. I like them really when they're about this big, but this will be nice. And so that's my morning pick. And then I was going to just mention, I listened to Jim and Renda and their bugs. Oh, and the tomato, what are they called? The horn worm is really getting their tomatoes. As a girl, I can remember them. I was born not far from here, even though I lived most of my married life in Idaho. I was born not far from here, and my mother had them in her garden. When I was a girl, we'd go out, my brother and I, and hunt for them and kill them. And I can remember them. They looked awful. And so I really sympathize with her. But you know, this has been such a nice place. I don't have spiders hardly in the house. I've just seen a few in 7 years. I bought some fabric one day, brought it home, and opened it up, and I think it was a black widow was in that fabric, so I'd kill that. But basically, oh, and we put a window box out where we eat in the kitchen on the other side that you can't see. And little teeny ants have come in since then, and they get on our table, and I finally have discovered the cinnamon essential oil. If I put it around where they come in, they haven't been back in. And I read that someplace that it's supposed to really do ants in, so I've been doing that. A friend of mine also said, if you would take honey and mix it with borax, that's a good way to get rid of them. The borax is poisonous, and of course the honey attracts them, and they're even apt to carry it back to where they go and really do more than just kill the ones that get in your house, but they carry it back and does them in. I've tried that. I just put some out, but so I don't know firsthand how it works, because actually they weren't in the house when I mixed it up, so I don't know about that. But I do know about bugs, and I'm going to tell you my three worst bug stories that have happened to me. Maybe 4, I don't know. But I can remember when we lived in Nampa, Idaho, and we had our cup rack, and it's over there. And at that time I was drinking both coffee and tea, mainly tea, but Anyway, I can remember one day I was preoccupied or doing something, and I was sipping it, and I got to feeling little stuff, and I think I even chewed some of it, and I thought, well, must be tea grounds in my cup. And no, I'm having coffee. What's in my cup? And I poured it out, and it was the remains of the spider. Oh dear. And same place, another time, early morning, I'm sitting at our dining room table and I'm reading, and anyway, I'm drinking, and then I'm aware that maybe something is in this cup. Well, when I dump it out, there is a spider, and you can see on my cup the trail clear up to the rim, and then as I put it down, it would go back. And anyway, from then on, I always looked really good in those cups, because evidently that was spiders liked my cups. So those, I've got one more spider story. Then when we moved to Crane Creek, it was vacant land and it was bug territory, and they didn't like it that we moved into their territory. But the longer we were there, the less bugs that I could see, except for spiders and wasps. And there were a few ticks. That's where I found out that you could wash a tick and it would still come through the washer alive. We never had one that I can remember got on us, but they got on the dogs. And but wasps we had. I think we had the house that must have been the wasp capital of the world. I don't know. But I remember waking up once and looking in the corner, and just, it was black on the inside with wasps. And we got them at, I don't know what we did. But anyway, one time Craig came up, our next door son, and he was visiting, and we started counting how many wasps we could kill. Now this is true. And Craig said, we're going to stop at this number because nobody would believe us. We got to 600 that we killed. And it was every fall the wasps would come in. The mailman carried a wasp spray, and when he opened a mailbox, he'd spray it because he'd got stung too many times. It was just unbelievable. But we had been stung getting into bed, after we've been into bed a while, sitting down, standing up, and finally what I did, I had a little saucer and I had some carrier oil in it and lavender. And I can remember the first time I got stung, my arm just swole up. Well, and probably I built up immunity or whatever, but anyway, the next time I had that oil and I put it on, and after a while, I mean, it just stopped the hurt almost immediately. It was really wonderful. So I kept that always, and Tom and I would go and dip into that oil thing. But what I want to tell you was, one night I woke up and my nose, I thought a wasp had got into my nose and stung me. And I got out of bed, I searched my bed, couldn't see anything, and I went into the bathroom, I blew my nose, and this yucky looking stuff came out. And anyway, I still thought somehow it was I've been stung. Well, I'd been stung, but not by a wasp. Well, maybe it was a bite. Anyway, the next morning at breakfast, we're in there, and there's one of these spiders that we had, and they were sort of jumping big spiders, and Tom whapped it. And when he whapped it, it made this big yucky mess. And I thought, oh, that's what I blew out of my nose in the middle of the night. So those are my worst bug stories. I hate bugs, but you know, it's a gift here. It is the most bugless place I've ever lived in. It is super, super nice. I love it. And I am just thankful. It's a gift. Like a little island of bugless place to live in finally. It's nice. And then to have such a nice crop. Isn't that nice? Like my mother used to say, aren't we rich? Okay, have a good day. I hope it's not with a lot of bugs.